Let's talk about the All-Star game for a second. Again, I told you most of this episode was going to be about All-Star weekend. So, people are obviously upset at the All-Star game, and people are saying that they should do away with the All-Star game because there's not even a hint of defense anymore, pretty much, in the All-Star game. The final score of this year's All-Star game was the East getting 211 points and the West scoring 186. This is the first time in All-Star game history that they scored over 200. Obviously, they scored the most. And it was essentially, I think that the stat was both teams attempted 146 three-pointers. And because they ain't playing no defense, a lot of those three-pointers went in. And you're seeing a lot of people say that they should just do away with the 3-point or the All-Star game if they're not going to play defense or they're not going to essentially try hard. And I was talking about this when I talked about the in-season tournament. The hardest thing to do is to promote something, needing somebody else to promote it. Is to sell something, is to have something, but the promotion is completely out of your hands in a sense of the All-Star game is only great if the people that are in it take it seriously. And I think what people have to understand, especially the people that are saying that they need to do away with the All-Star weekend or do away with All-Star game. You know when All-Star selections really matter? I know that this is going to be a harsh truth for a lot of people, but it's the truth. All-Star selections only matter when somebody retires. And when you're building up a case for if they should or should not be in the Hall of Fame. Players know that as well. And you're hearing about, the quote-unquote purists talking about why they don't play defense in the All-Star game or something. What incentives do these players have? That they need to essentially try hard in an exhibition game. This game does not matter in this grand sense of if Damian Lillard, who won the All-Star Game MVP, the Milwaukee Bucks don't have an automatic bid in the playoffs or automatic first-round bye. Damian Lillard don't make more money because he was an All-Star or an All-Star Game MVP. There are people that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant were All-Star Game MVPs. They're sitting in the same exact Hall of Fame that Yao Ming is in, who was an All-Star, was never an All-Star MVP. You have to understand, man, the All-Star game is going to reflect on how today's NBA is or how the current NBA is to whenever the All-Star game is. There is no incentive for these players to play hard. You can incorporate money. And I think that if you incorporate money, I know that there's money to charity, but quiet as it's kept, these players don't care if their charities get it or not because they make so much money. They can just give them charity. They can just give charity money. But if you say, hey, if you win, you saw that with the in season tournament. They said if you win, you get like 500K. You saw everybody playing hard. Now you would think, what's 500K to a $250 million contract? 500K is 500K. Like 500K is 500K. So say, hey, if you win $1 million. Everybody on your team, trust me, I don't care if they all have maxes. You gonna see some defense, because ain't nobody trying to just give up give up $1 million. Why don't you do that? If you're gonna, you need to make it incentive based. Meaning, what reason do I have to play hard, potentially get hurt, which ruined the actual season? Like no. And quiet as it's kept, I'm not saying you have to play a lockdown 1995 defense. What I'm saying is just get a little bit of effort. And I put money, you'll find that effort in $1 million. Just like the in-season tournament, you found that effort with a 500K. The whole winning team gets $1 million extra dollars. Let me tell you something. You're gonna see some blocks. You're gonna see some defensive stances. I promise you that. But this is what you're gonna get. And on top of that, quiet as it's kept, today's NBA, these players, they're much more skilled offensively than they were back in the day. So maybe it was defense. They played more defense back in the day, but it also, you're not playing. These players are better offensively. Like, you think there was a Damian Lillard back in the day that can shoot walk up threes from the half court, or Steph Curry, or Karl Anthony Towns that dropped 50 and still lost? I understand, like, you want your stars to take it seriously. Like, it was clear that Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic, I'm not just singling it out, but they were two that came to mind, didn't really take it seriously. But again, there's no incentive to take it seriously. They probably didn't want to be there. Because I get the whole building resumes and everything when we talk about, Hall of Fame worthy or whatever, but a lot of these players looking at it as, I don't want to be here. Other players get this weekend off, get to have rest, and I got to do all these TV obligations and commercial obligations and NBA obligations and all these interviews. Nobody wants to do that. And then you still expect them to play hard for nothing? I'll say this, and then we will finally move on for All-Star Weekend. You will continue to get games like this. And you will continue to get... There's no incentive to care unless you give them an incentive. Which, for basketball players, it's money. That's all I'm saying. Because I put money. If there was $1 million on the line, then not like $1 million to break down. Like, every player on the team gets $1 million that's playing if they win. Let me tell you something. You're going to see the glove come out. You're going to see Kawhi Leonard actually try hard. Boy, that's all I'm saying. Oh, and I would like to see women get incorporated in the All-Star game. Again, I understand that the WNBA has their All-Star game. I'm not disrespecting their All-Star game, even though I do hate that their All-Star game is usually like 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. I hate that, bro. Like, make it a star Sunday. Like, come on. But I would like to see, Drew Lloyd, see what she can do against. I think that'll be an interesting cog as well. Instead of putting them in the celebrity game, why don't you put them in the All-Star game? Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.